Diane here. I am coming to you today from my home gym with a very special movement routine geared towards your ankle and lower leg. It's another one in my body parts series, and it has a couple of different benefits. Number one, it's going to aid you in walking. If your ankles and your lower legs have flexibility and mobility and strength, walking is going to be a whole lot easier. And the second benefit, which is very important for us as we age, is strong ankles and strong feet give us a good base for fall prevention. Two very good reasons to keep our feet, ankles, and lower legs as strong as possible. Stick with me till the end and you'll see how to do this. A few things you're going to need for today's program. You're going to need a sturdy chair, one without wheels, and then something rolled up. I'm going to use my exercise mat. You can use a towel. You can use a pool noodle, whatever works for you that you might have around. And the other thing is a resistance band of some sort. These resistance bands you can get pretty much anywhere from a drugstore to a sporting goods store to online. I'll drop some links in the description to where I get mine in case you'd like to do that. The resistance bands come in a variety of different strengths. I recommend you start out with the easy ones first and work your way up. That way you'll be sure to get the right amount of resistance for where you are. So grab your bands, your chair, and your rolled up mat or towel, and let's get going. As we do with everything, we're going to start out with a warm-up. So the first thing we're going to do is warm up our ankles. You can start by just raising that one foot up, and we're going to do some circles in one direction and then circles in the other direction, and then point and flex and point and flex and circle it around a little more, other direction. Do some more point and flexes until you feel those muscles getting warm. You can draw the alphabet, your name, whatever you'd like to do. And once you feel that leg is, or that ankle is nice and warm, we're going to switch to the other one. Circle. If you want to support your leg, support it under the top of your leg, not your knee. And make sure that you're circling from your ankle and not your whole leg. You're going to find one's more flexible than the other, always is. Point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. Circle a little more. I have kind of a hitch in my left ankle because I have an Achilles injury. Write your name. And once you feel that's nice and warm, you're good. Now we're going to work up and we're going to stretch our calf muscle, the big muscle in the calf of our leg, by putting your band or your TheraBand, whichever one you want to use, doesn't matter, right under the ball of your foot. You don't want it under your arch and you don't want it on your toes because it'll just slide off and slap you in the face, and that's not good. So we're going to do just a little point and flex. And you're going to feel that right back here. Stretch and hold. About 10 seconds. Release. Come up and stretch and hold. I'm doing 3 sets of 10 seconds, just to start out with. If you've not worked these muscles before, you might want to start with a little less. Release that. Switch feet. Make sure you get it down far enough so it doesn't slide off. Make sure when you're doing this, you're keeping your knees straight. For this particular stretch, we don't want a bent knee. That stretches a different muscle. Release. And one more. And create that tension until you feel like you're getting a good stretch, but not too much. Okay, very good. Now we're going to put our band down. Sitting towards the edge of your chair, now we're going to stretch the other muscle that's in the back of our leg called the soleus. So you're going to bring your foot back as far as you can bring it and still keep your heel on the ground. And you can feel just that amount of motion. You can feel the stretch in a different place than where you were stretching before. If you're not feeling a stretch, you can do one of two things. You can push your leg back a little farther, or you can lean forward. Both of those things will stretch that. And again, count of 10, release. Again. Remember, we want to keep our heel on the floor, so adjust to your position so that you can do that. Come up, and one more time. These are great exercises to do when you're hanging out. You can do them in your desk at work. You can do them when you're watching TV. Just use your chair instead of your sofa. Better for your posture anyway. So we're getting that leg back. As with everything else, you're going to find one side's more flexible than the other. And release. And one more time. And release. The last stretch we're going to do is also seated. And this time what we're stretching are everything up and down our shin. It's an easy thing to do. It's also something that's very important, especially if you happen to be a runner or a fast walker. If you've ever had shin splints, this will help you avoid that. So we're going to bring our leg back again under the chair, but this time we're going to bring it top of the foot down. Now, if this is uncomfortable on your toes because maybe you have a bunion or hammer toes or something like that, feel free to put a pillow or a towel under your toes for this. You can still get a good stretch. And same as with the other exercise, either lean forward or move your leg back until you get a stretch right up through here. And it'll feel good. I promise. Count of 10. Release it out a little bit. Again. Get easy on this. This is not a muscle that you've stretched out routinely, unless you do a lot of cobras or up dogs. We're going to switch to the other foot. Again, adjust yourself in the chair until you're comfortable and you can feel that stretch. And foot up. One more time. And last time. As you progress, you can hold these stretches longer than 10 seconds. You know, you start to feel it's not stretching quite as much, or it feels really good and you want to hang out there a little longer. Feel free. Listen to your body. And that concludes the stretch part of today's program. And now for the strengthening part. I've come down to the floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rolled up mat or your rolled up towel or whatever you have. And what we want to do is put that under your leg about halfway between your knee and your ankle. And the purpose of this is to keep your heel off the floor while we're doing these strengthening exercises to give you the full range of motion. You can do whatever you want with the other leg. It doesn't matter, whatever's comfortable. For this one, I'm going to use the TheraBand only so I can show you the differences. I've tied a little loop in the end of mine, which I'm going to put around the edge of my foot, just like we did on the stretching ones. Now this time the purpose is we're going to push against the band to strengthen our foot. So I'm putting a reasonable amount of stretch on, and I'm going to push my foot out. And you can adjust how you're holding so that you're feeling that motion. So slowly down and back, 10 to 12 repetitions. And you can make it harder by pulling back harder, by using a stronger TheraBand also. So as you progress, you can make it more difficult. And we're going to switch feet. Put the other foot in the TheraBand. Now again, my left ankle is weaker. I do have the Achilles injury, so I'm not going to go crazy with it. About 10 to 12 reps to start out with, and you can gradually increase as you get stronger. So the next one, I'm actually going to put both legs on my exercise mat just for simplicity's sake. The looper is going to go around my right foot. This time I'm pulling this way, and I'm making my foot push this way. And just for the sake of ease, I'm going to loop it around my other foot. See, I'm moving my foot sideways, and make sure that all that's moving is your ankle, not your whole leg. Again, 10 to 12 repetitions. Switch up your feet. And you can adjust how hard this is by moving your feet further from each other, or using a stronger TheraBand or loop band, whichever you're using. If you need to convince your leg to stay still by holding on to it, you can. You really want to get that ankle motion side to side there. Okay. And the last strengthening exercise is you're going to find in your living room or wherever you are the leg of a table or the leg of a sofa, something that's very sturdy that you're not going to be able to move with your foot. We're going to loop our TheraBand around that. I'm going to put my foot in, and basically I'm just holding, and this time I'm bringing my foot up against the resistance instead of down against. It looks like the same motion, but it's really not. And you can put your towel or whatever you have, your exercise mat or your pool noodle under your calf so that you get full range of motion. And again, you can pull your TheraBand tighter to make it harder, or move your foot further away. 10 to 12 repetitions. Switch feet. And just as a word, I'm doing this barefoot or sock foot. I like to get a little extra motion in my toes, but if you're not able or not comfortable, you can certainly do these ankle exercises in shoes. we have it. A really good ankle, lower leg stretching, strengthening program for you to assist with walking and help you with fall prevention. I hope you enjoyed today's program. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so I can continue to bring you content like this that's meaningful to you, content that you, my listeners, have requested. And by the way, drop your comments below because I do read those and I use those comments to create new content just for you guys. Sign up for my newsletter to get my weekly fresh start with tips and tricks and exercises to start your week off right. And most importantly, see you next week.